has taken home the Wildcat spotlight in our program here today for this series as he skies the first pitch he sees into shallow right field, and it's going to drop in the Bermuda Triangle area in between the first baseman and right fielder. And Danny Kahn comes around to score on the wild throw. Tyler Marr going to pull up into second base with what will probably go down as a 2 RBI single. And the Wildcats jumping ahead, taking the lead here 2-1 in the bottom of the first. That brings up the right fielder, Nathan Blotcher. The senior's going to take a swing at the first pitch, and that one is going to be out of the reach of Hunter Klingelhofer, a home run. So the second run scored off of Camden Orem so far here today, 1 run in each of the innings. And the solo home run from Nathan Blotcher, who has been slow to start the year, looks like he might be catching some fire against Linfield. Yep. Blotcher versus Linfield, a guy I remember having success against the Wildcats last season when the Wildcats visited the Loggers and got swept, but limited sample size, just 3 for 7 versus Linfield with 2 RBIs coming into this game. Of course, drove himself in on that last solo home run, so that total going to be 3 RBIs now with a 4 for 8. But so far on this year for Blotcher, it's been really slow. 191 batting average with a 328 on base, just 2 home runs now after that last one. But looking back at last year, he hit 281 with 3 home runs and 18 RBIs in 21 games, so was probably a platoon sort of outfielder for these Loggers last year. And this year in a starting role just hasn't seen the same success he's pitched so far this year. As Klingelhofer rips one right off Murashige. That's going to go right into left field. And with as hot as that one was hit, might need to check Murashige's pants after that. 0-2, 2 outs to Klingelhofer. Smacks that one. It's got some loft on it. That one's going to be deep into left center field. A home run. Hunter Klingelhofer extending the lead for these Wildcats with a moonshot out into left center field. He watched one go over the wall earlier, putting his own one over the fence now, as he's going to get all the love from the Wildcat faithful. Welcome on back to the Linfield Sports Network. Going to be 3, 4, 5 coming up for these UPS Loggers, and we're going to have a new pitcher on the mound for the Wildcats to face him. Going to be senior right-hander Gavin Ludlow, standing 6'1", 185 out of Lake Tapps, Washington. Got the whole family here. His dad was kind enough to run me up a Gatorade earlier, but he's got the mom, grandpa in the building today, and he's looking to show out. He's been getting better and better as his outings have progressed this year. If we're looking at his numbers on the year as a total, he's got a 5.02 ERA in 10 appearances. His record sitting at 2-2, 14.1 innings pitched. He's racked up 13 strikeouts, but he's given up 23 hits. And the real big thing for Ludlow has been the weak contact. We talk about sinker ball pitchers a lot. He has got one of the best ones. It's got a lot of break, and it's going to run into those hands of the right-handed hitters, and unfortunately has been dealing with a whole lot of weak contact. But in his last few outings, if you're looking back at his last 4 outings, he's got 2, 3, 4, 5.5 innings pitched with just 2 earned runs. So it's been getting better and better, and Coach Spencer is still believing in him, putting him in here in a high-leverage situation.
And relies heavily on that fastball sinker.
Runner goes, and Tyler Marr delivers a strike out to second base, and Gavin Ludlow hits him with the fist bump and the props as Tyler Marr guns down Makana Murashige.
But regardless, haven't seen it a whole lot.
Yep, as this one is poked into center field, and Jackson Bowie putting his body on the line again for the Linfield Wildcat pitching staff, making another excellent play out in center field. This time, it's the left center gap, extending himself and getting that out number 2 for Ludlow, and he's got to appreciate that after he saw probably another weak ball off of a bat looking like it could have gotten down for another hit. But Jackson Bowie coming in at the last minute to save the day here. But Gavin Ludlow going to be doing everything he can to keep Mannion out in the pen, save him for next game. As Ludlow gets the 2-2 in there. That one is skied into center field. Jackson Bowie tracking it through the wind for out number 2. Ludlow grunts on the heater. The 0-1 is skied high into the air. And Nick Holmes going to be right there to grab it. The Wildcats finish off this win for game number 1. Final score going to be 8-6 with Gavin Ludlow finishing off the final 3 innings and grabbing the save. Looks like Declan Francis towing the rubber for the first time today.
Whew. And we're underway.
Yep. Strike 1 from the 6'1", 230-pound freshman out of Lake Oswego, Oregon, has been seen on both sides of the ball for the Wildcats so far this year. Slow start at the dish with the bat, but on the mound has really found his spot so far for these Wildcats. Up until his last outing, his longest appearance was 4 innings, and before that one, it was just 1.2. And then bang, going up to PLU last weekend, and he's a huge part of the sweep. Starts game 2, goes 5 innings, no earned runs, and 8 Ks. So obviously the best performance we've seen out of the freshman so far, and Coach Spencer looking for him to build on that one here a week later.
The 0-2 poked into center, high fly. Probably won't be deep enough. Klingelhoff are going to test the arm, the throw up the line, and just like that, Linfield leads. It's 2-0.
Just an absolute noodle out there from center field. I'm not sure who he was trying to throw out with that one, but here today. But we have a special guest up here with us for Game 2. Former Linfield baseball player, stellar center field alumni. We have Garrett Moen up in the booth with us. Garrett, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Appreciate the intro. Thanks for having me, guys. Been looking forward to this for the last week, so this should be a good time. Every situation kind of matters. So getting the bunt down, placing it well, like we saw Bowie do last inning, that was a great bunt. I probably taught him that somewhere along the line. So yeah, it was a good bunt, and it just opens up a lot of opportunities for the offense.
Yeah, 100%. And as we were saying, it's so important to move guys up 90 feet. A free pass there to start the inning from Francis. So going to have to limit those if he's going to go deeper into this one. Pitching with a 2-run lead, though. So got a bit of a break, Gmo. I mean, what have you been up to recently? I'm sure a lot of these fans, especially my mom, wanted to know exactly what you've been doing. She wanted the whole report, and of course I couldn't give it to her. So, yeah, post-graduation, what's life been like?
First off, shout out to your mother. Love that. Just been working, living up in Hillsborough with my girlfriend. It's been great getting the golf game kind of acclimated, especially as the weather's starting to come around. So,
that's right.
The goal for the summer is to break 100. We are nowhere close to that, but goals are goals.
It's no longer the Bayou. It is now called the 9,
Ah.
interestingly enough.
You know, Connor, I've never been a golf guy. It's, as a lefty guy from the left side, it's hard to find lefty clubs. I've been to Goodwill a couple times trying to find them. Can't really do that.
Well, you might be able to find a few of Gmo's old ones out in some of the lakes by the 9 if you're, like, really hunting for it like that.
Yep. Maybe a couple balls, too.
More than a couple. 1-2 from Francis. That one's going to be a swing and a miss on our Shohei Ohtani from the Loggers side over there before the game. I didn't recognize a lot of these guys, the pictures, the names. This was one guy I remembered. He's their starting third baseman. He was playing third base last year. And, just kind of surprised me last year. I remember him going yard back at home, out at PSU or UPS. So, yeah, what do you remember about this guy?
Sneaky pop. That wouldn't really recognize it if you saw kind of a thin frame, but he's got some pop behind him, some slug in the bat. So guys like that are kind of tough to play defense on, where you want to position yourself, especially for me in the outfield, where I wanted to be to kind of give myself the best chance. It was always hard with a guy who has kind of that sneaky pop.
I know Linfield and, Spence, not a guy who does a whole lot of shifts, but was there
just like that?
And oh my God, that one is hit very high in the air, and as soon as we were talking about it, Makana Murashige showing off that sneaky pop, gets a hold of one from Declan Francis, put it sky high in the air, and that one is going to tie the game. And a guy who had 2 career home runs off Linfield in the past 2 years already, making sure his average is staying at 1 a year, and with this one, ties it up.
Maybe not so sneaky there. Oh, wow.
And Colin Price. Looks like he had some dance lessons before this game. He really got full effort into ringing Murashige up there, and we're getting a mouthful here from Jeff Halstead to home plate umpire Colin Price, and we have seen an ejection. Colin Price has heard enough, and Jeff Halstead has just been tossed from this one.
Wow.
Francis is 2-2.
Yeah, he got
an awkward swing, and they're going to call him. Brett Joner steps on home plate to get the force out, and Declan Francis is hyped up. One key moment in your career really stands out to me as a player. I was just wondering what you thought, what was the most memorable experience or moment you had on the field or even off the field with this team that really sticks with you now after you've already been gone?
Oh, man. We talked about you asking me this, and I was trying to think of like one, and I have one, but there's so many that I could go through, especially from the 22 season when we won it and made the playoffs.
But back to you, Gmo. What kind of was going through your head when I sent that one over to you?
The first thing I thought of was robbing the home run against PLU. Just like how everything kind of fell into place for us after that. Say if we had lost that game, we wouldn't have made the tournament. We wouldn't have been co-conference champions. For that, especially to save Colt in a season where he would go 6-out saves or 4-out saves and really save us a lot because offensively we weren't that great at producing runs.
That's a great way to put it.
To kind of save him. Yeah. That was really cool. And the way that everything kind of fell into place, we went and got the series win the next day. I didn't really realize it in the moment. For me, it was kind of just going back and catching a fly ball until I saw Campos in right field kind of just screaming at me, let's go, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And because there was a guy on first and it was no outs and just had to get it back in quick. Actually, I still have the video of it. It was 2 years ago today on Monday was that play. And just kind of cool to have a moment like that in a 4-year career was awesome. I think
some more hit and run action. That one's just going to hang up a little bit too long for Joner, who looked like he punched. Bringing you fans who may not have remembered it, but back in 22, that catch that Gmo was talking about, I wasn't traveling with the team at that point, so just watching it on the stream, I can't tell you how electric that moment was. You watched starter Andrew Del Biagio throw a gem.
Yep.
Colton Meyer come in for the back half of the game like he always does, so you thought the game was over. And then, you get into a little bit of trouble in a close game, and just the unthinkable happens. And a robbed home, I don't think there has been another robbed home run that I can think of, at least in the Northwest Conference or in a Linfield baseball game, nonetheless. And like you said, that just propelled the whole team for the rest of the season.
And especially in a situation like this.
3-2, 2 outs. He gets the swing. It's going to be a ground ball to Danny Kahn, who makes an off-balance throw and gets the out at first.
What a
dug out by
Nick
Nick Holm.
Goodness gracious, Danny Kahn showing up. Big difference.
Yeah, unfortunately, the same strategy doesn't work in MLB The Show. As that one is grounded over to Maris at shortstop. Throws across for out number 3.
Let's get on the board here, Connor. What do you say?
Yeah, we need some runs. Gmo needs to spark some runs here in the bottom of this 7th. Maybe you need to go down there and whip some action into him, but we'll be back with the bottom of the 7th. Hopefully the Cats wake up the sticks. We will take a break. Be back. We're still knotted up at 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Maris looking to give the Wildcats a 1-run lead, and that one sliced down the first base line past the diving glove of Jack McCullers.
Push it.
Joner scores easily. Maris going all the way around to 3rd and is going to be there standing up. As Holm gets a good piece of that one, but it's knocked right back to the pitcher on the mound. Robman runs over and underhands that one to the first baseman. Well, before we leave, I'd like to say thank you, Gmo, for coming up here and hanging out with us. It's been a blast having you on the mic. I'm sure all of the fans have enjoyed hearing your analysis and just everything that's been going on with you. Yeah. So, it was great to have you up here.
No, I want to thank you guys, and shout out to you guys. You guys have been killing it all year and making the games pretty fun to watch, no matter what the score is, So, shout out to you guys. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you very much.
Gmo.
Appreciate you guys.
Just like that, don't go home just yet. Nick Holm ties this one up with 2 outs in the 9th.
Another huge pimp job out of Holm, just showing off the ice in the veins. Tying this ball game up down to the last strike, the last out of this one. Nick Holm, like you said, Brian, says we're not going home just yet. We got more baseball in store for you here on the LSN.
So Tyler today.
And a strike 3 called, looking for Matthew Tashney, who's smiling into that UPS dugout. He's hyped up. First time I've seen the energy come out of him like that. Tie ball game going to the bottom of the 12th, coming at you on the LSN. Fortunately, went straight to the bunt now. 0-1. We'll see what he does now. Grounds this one through the 5-6 hole, past the diving glove of Uyama. And it's going to be first and second to lead off the inning for the Wildcats, Brian, and Hunter Klingelhofer coming to the dish. That's just something you can't have happen on the bases in this kind of situation. Is
that one
Klingelhofer
get on out of here.